SNCC have a physical office, or was it just sort of they met everywhere?
SNCC had an office, and I think it was on Nelson Street that we were in and out of there. And they also had a Freedom House that we went and met people, and different people coming in from around the country. We met, and I've forgotten most of them, but I remember interacting with a lot of people. Do you want me to name some of them?
No, you don't
Okay.
have to say anything. Tell me a little bit about, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what was the Atlanta Inquirer, and what was its significance as you understood it? Include my question answers.
Okay. The Atlanta Inquirer was instrument for getting out the information about what was going on in terms of what the students were doing and in the activities that were going on. You know, the major newspaper, the Atlanta Constitution, and then it was the Atlanta Constitution Journal that was the evening paper, but they were not printing information and letting people know what was going on. So the Inquirer was a strong instrument in terms of communicating the message and the word and what was going on.
And how was it, do you remember at all, like how was it funded? Like how did they keep that going? How were they able to keep the...
How did they keep that going monetarily? They did appeals across the country. Atlanta, like Montgomery, there was not that much, but some support from people in Atlanta, but people in cities like New York, California, and that I think were more instrumental. I didn't know anything about the money situation per se, but I just heard that so-and-so was going to speak somewhere to raise funds. And I knew that the SNCC Freedom Singers went across the country singing to raise funds also.
Let's see. And so tell me a little bit about the Freedom Rides and the Freedom Riders and how that connected, I guess, from Montgomery to Atlanta. Tell me about that.
The Freedom Riders came to Montgomery, and they were attacked when debarking the bus. A lot of injuries, a lot of blood. John Lewis, you know what he received. But I remember a fellow named William Barbee that we went to see at St. Jude Hospital here, and they had beaten his ear off. It's very bloody. But the Freedom Riders, we were impressed with them. You know, they were the big girls and boys, and we were the high school folk. And most of them were in college or had finished college. And we went around with them most everywhere, every day we were dealing with them. And we were impressed. They were so determined after all that violence. And I think people don't really understand that even in Montgomery during the bus boycott, there was a lot of women beaten that were walking the street. And they threw eggs and urine on us as we were walking and as we were getting around, spreading the word about the meetings, the mass meetings, and coming out of meetings. They attacked women and youth. And that's what you asked me. They then, with their determination, I was so impressed that I could join with CORE in Baton Rouge at Southern at the demonstrations that were going on there. They were protesting because Weldon Rougeau had been arrested, and we went down to protest. And coming back, I mean, they told us to hold hands, but everybody left. And so I was standing there holding hands with my roommate, and we opened our eyes, and people were running everywhere. So then they really attacked us, but that's not what you asked me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what you,
interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
So that because of the tear gas, that I was ill and had to go to the infirmary, and so they then knew I was one of the participants, and so they closed down for Christmas and said we get a letter to come back. I didn't. So then my daddy said for me to come to Atlanta, and then and then I got a chance to meet again to some of the people that we met over here.
So some of the Freedom Riders.
Were in Atlanta. Mhm.
Okay. But you never were actually on a Freedom Ride, but tell me, you said you begged to be a part of it.
Yeah, my sister and I begged to be a part of it, and I'll show you. They were in the house. They hid them in the house around the corner because everybody was looking for them. And they were so clever because when they were looking for us in the church, the Freedom Riders in the church, they bombed, they tear gassed people, and they set cars on fire outside the church. And so they came in the church looking for the Freedom Riders, and the Freedom Riders just got up in the choir. And so they couldn't find them. That was very clever, wasn't it? So I'm saying over and over again how impressed I was and how they organized and how the ladies took care of the guys. They washed their clothes and, the kind of thing like that. So we said, yeah, there's something to this group right here. And I like the way that the women participated in the conversations. Like a lot of times back then, doesn't happen now, but back then, women couldn't talk. The men had to say for them and make the decisions. But these were some very intelligent women that had strong conviction.
I dig it. Let's see. Talk to me a little bit about Warren Memorial. What was Warren Memorial, and what role did it play?
I think, well, it was supportive because students were able to have.
Say the name, Warren.
Warren Memorial was important. It housed, it allowed for mass meetings to be held there. And anytime that a church allowed students to be in there to get the word out and to meet, it's very significant because there were so many places again that wouldn't. So Warren Memorial, like Rush Memorial. Now I wasn't in the circle to really know what this preacher did or what they did. I know we were allowed in there, and I knew then that they were important.
What was, now I know you had a relationship with the King family. What was your interaction like with Dr. King, even in Atlanta?
Even in Atlanta, I mostly was, I'm gonna tell you now, I wasn't the leader at the top, so I would listen more. If I was in a meeting, he would.
Or you can say his name, because
Dr. King, I interacted with a lot, and he spoke and was very pleasant and was encouraging of young people being involved. There were some disagreements with him, with some of the SNCC people, but I'd come to know him in Montgomery for doing the boycott, and so he knew my face, and I think he knew my name because he later introduced Dorothy Height, me to Dorothy Height, and she encouraged her to give me a job because she had a program. And that was fresh out of college. But we had spent the summer in Chicago with the open housing project that SCLC did then. I never labeled myself with SCLC, SNCC, a core, NAACP, because I work with all of them. So, I'm just a movement brat.
I hear that. Do you remember, are there any other events